This is the Big O Show. This is the Big O Show.
Alan Hurns yesterday opted out due to the coronavirus, and he had a statement also for opting out. Let me read the statement for you from Alan Hurns, the former Miami Hurricane. He says, definitely wasn't an easy decision, but I've decided to opt out of the 2020 season to do what's best for my family, and especially with a baby boy on the way. I will continue to support my teammates and brothers across the league wholeheartedly and wishing them the best going forward this season. Look, with Alan Hurns, you are losing a possession receiver, an experienced receiver, but I'll tell you what you're really missing with him. You're missing probably the best presence in the locker room at that position. Maybe the best leader in the locker room at that position. And that's where Alan Hurns' value goes understated, underappreciated, and probably not noticed by most because we're not in the locker room. But as a guy that has a little insight in that locker room and what goes on, I can tell you for a fact that Alan Hurns is one of those guys that is beloved in that locker room. He's one of those leaders and one of those straight thinking dudes that just like tells you the right thing to do almost every time. And so those are the guys that, people gravitate to guys like this. And that young receiving core loses a lot of experience with Albert Wilson and now Alan Hurns too. But I will tell you this, as a leader, as a guy that looks over the core and all that and provides, the proper perspective on things for these young guys, that's where Alan Hurns is going to be missed immensely. It's an enormous loss in that sense. Is it a loss that you're going to win one less game because of Alan Hurns? Probably not. I'm talking about talent-wise because I think you still have enough talent on the field. Now, if guys get injured and you don't have Albert Wilson and you don't have Alan Hurns, then yes, it becomes a problem. Okay, I get it. Now, remember, Miami did acquire a couple of young guys. So this might be their opportunity to develop some of those young guys. Look, Albert Wilson is a guy that was probably going to be here for this last year or maybe released at the end of whatever camp was going to be so they didn't take a cap hit. Okay? I don't know. And maybe they were going to keep him around because they did rework the deal. But either way, he didn't have a long-term future with Miami. So I understand him taking a step back. And Alan Hurns, look, I think every player should take a step back. I don't think anybody should be playing this game this year. Not football, not in a pandemic. Okay? I just think the risk that every player has to bring it back to their house and give it to their wives and give it to their kids and, God forbid, give it to their parents or grandparents. Oh, my Lord. I think it's enormous. So, for me, if you're a comfortable player and you have money in the bank, I would take the year off. If you're a young guy that's unproven and you don't have money in the bank and this is all you're going to make right now and that's all you got, then you got to roll the dice and you got to play the game and you got to try to survive like the rest of us who are working through a pandemic. You know what I'm saying? So, to me, that's where Alan Hurns is going to be missed. His leadership, if you even have a season, if the season's able to kick off, you're going to need those kind of guys in the locker room to help you navigate through the tough times. And remember, last year, for many weeks, they were going through a tough time. Alan Hurns was one of those guys that was in that locker room during that time to help these young guys through all that stuff. So I would tell you that that's where you're going to miss him. Albert Wilson started to look pretty good towards the end of last season. He started to look more like himself. I don't know what he was going to be this year. Was he going to be himself or was he going to break down? So that one is, I I know you can miss the talent, but I'm not sure if he's reliable enough to say that I missed him. You know what I'm saying? And Alan Hurns has also had his share of injuries. But these are guys that, in the end, Miami, if they can stay healthy at that position, they can overcome. But they do lose experience and leadership with those guys because they don't have a lot of guys that have that. You know, Devontae had one really good year last year, finally. But it's not like he's been around for 4 years proving and leading and all of that. So he's going to have to assume more of a leadership role, you know. And I wouldn't be surprised if there's a veteran receiver that's out there, not Antonio Brown, folks, but one that actually has his head screwed on right. If there's one that they can sign, maybe they'll bring him in. Maybe there's a chance that Miami does that. They do get money back now because these guys opted out. So they are going to save money on the cap on those guys. It's not an enormous amount, but they are going to save a little bit overall. But yeah, this is one where you lose in the leadership and experience category more than anything else for the Dolphins.